Well, I have to apologize for being a little tardy here. You were ready, although 13 minutes before our scheduled time, but I was out there spraying weed killer on the plants. And I had
Weed killer?
Yeah, all those nasty chemicals that kill all the weeds but supposedly leave the grass intact, and then they get all over your body. So I had to clean up from that and wash the deadly, harmful, government contaminants off my body. So
Do you mix your own or do you buy the bottle ready made?
I buy it. I have full confidence in the government's, whatever mix they put together.
I'm sorry, you have confidence in the government's mix. This sounds like a segue here.
Does it? Well, it is a segue. This is Cats on Guard. My name is MC Howe. You are Co-Captain Richard Million. And we are talking today about conspiracies and all those wonderful things that everybody seems to think is happening in the sky. But is it really?
I don't know enough about the conspiracy to understand what they need to hear to undo their thought process. Let's elaborate here. All right, give me an example.
Okay, talking about the chemicals in my weed killer. Some believe that there are chemicals being seeded in the sky from the airliners that are now I've tried this word before. Help me. They're commonly known as chemtrails.
There you go.
There. So what we see, those little white streaks in the sky after an airplane flies over, you and I might think that that's called a contrail.
No, I call them chemtrails just to get a rise out of everybody. I'd ride that out. Yeah.
But some people believe that these things are dangerous toxins being seeded in the air for what nefarious purposes? There's a number of different theories. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about here. So if you go to what?
Doesn't that spray the same people that like the government people live down here too?
Well, I had that thought while I was doing my research on this, and then obviously they have some sort of inoculation, or there's something different in their DNA, because if you're part of that long-standing government cabal, the New World Order that controls everything and has since the dawn of time, it's either built into you or you just have access to the alien inoculations that make it safe for you to walk around while all the rest of us are getting sprayed by this stuff. Don't you think?
So we're all mind-controlled slaves that feed into the tax system, and just in this country. I mean, are the chemtrail people around the world, or are they, across the world, or around the flat world? Or where are the chemtrail people? Are they mostly in the U.S.?
Well, it's an interesting thing. Chemtrails really were not a thing before the mid-90s. It was during the 90s that some believed that the United States Air Force was doing this atmospheric seeding of what? I couldn't tell you. And what happened in the 90s? The internet came along and people became enmeshed in their little conspiracy-laden communities. Late night talk radio sprouted up. And so it began with the U.S. Air Force. Has it spread around the world? Of course it has. We know how the atmosphere flies around and brings this stuff everywhere. So everyone believes in it. It has to be.
Let's take it easy on around the world, because that hasn't been proven yet, sir.
Okay. We're not there yet. We're getting there.
Well, but hey, you talked about seeding. So I know for sure that cloud seeding is actually a thing. Like they can go create clouds to make rain or stop rain, right? That's actually correct. But I think we've spun that into like a conspiracy, right?
Who's doing it?
I've seen like king airs with like this equipment that they can make like for crops or something. Maybe I should have gotten some sort of sighting source for this before this episode, but I thought cloud seeding was real. Maybe you're gonna just make me think I have a conspiracy that I truly believe in.
No, I think you're right. I think there has been some form of that done to try to, lower temperatures, generate weather. I think it has been attempted.
But it's not to poison us. I mean, it might be poisoning us.
No, I don't think that's the intent, but you're right. It might have a side effect.
I mean, most of the food we consume in this country right now, it's not to protect us.
No?
The ingredients list on most products, I don't know, maybe I'll be the conspiracy theorist here. Like, there's too much scientific letters in the ingredients list of food at the store.
Yeah, there's a
You know,
lot of that.
why isn't asparagus ingredients just asparagus? Like, why is there a bunch of names I can't pronounce in the ingredients list when I buy a can of peas? It should just say peas, water. Like, that should be it, but it's not.
Well, what kind of uppity, how are you carrying yourself around that you think that you should even be looking at these things?
You know, probably some Netflix documentary or something that convinced me that the government's trying to kill us all. Like, they make us all sick with the chemicals we eat in the food, and then we buy all the medicine to fix the chemicals from the medical companies, and they're all in cahoots to take millions of dollars from us, billions.
Well, and that's your problem. You're thinking about it too hard. If you would just go along with it, and maybe you're one of those, maybe you're from the cabal, and
Maybe
maybe
I'm in
you're
on it.
not mindless enough. So you should try to get in on that and say, hey, listen, this stuff isn't having the necessary effect. I'm thinking too hard. Maybe I should be on the other side of this.
Well, like, diabetes wasn't a huge thing back in the day. Well, I mean, like, there wasn't a million people, billions of people walking around with prescriptions of metformin, but now, like, everybody does.
Same with nut allergies.
All right, all right. So let's let's wrap up chemtrails. So, do you push the low or the high button on takeoff for chemtrails? Do you wait till you're in
Oh
cruise to
wait,
turn
oh no, I
chemtrails
wait
on?
till I'm at altitude because I get paid
Oh,
a
is it
lot of money.
altitude?
I get paid a lot of money when I press that button. Are you kidding me?
And
Yeah.
how much of a capacity in your fuel tank do you have for injecting chemtrails?
Oh no, it's a completely separate tank. It's not in the
Oh,
fuel
is it?
tanks. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah. Thanks for going along with me on that rant. That was stupid, but yeah.
no, but people believe this. I mean, think about it. If you're sitting aft of the wing and you have a window seat, aren't you going to see something coming out of the airplane?
Well, that's the thing. People
Or
that
where is
don't
it?
like understand the jet engines themselves will see, like, what is it, a PT2 probe that comes out, like, there's probes inside the engine that measure temperatures, but they look like injector nozzles from, like, a car, but they don't know that that's giving us temperature indications of our exhaust gas temperature in the cockpit. But oh, that's where the stuff must get mixed in with the exhaust fumes, and if you're in the back of the plane, I still don't think you see the contrail. I think
Well,
it
no.
starts like a few, because you're going so fast.
Yeah. And also the chemtrails come out the tail cone, so you wouldn't see that anyway.
You
So,
know what, I do think it's kind of cool when these people have on certain aircraft have, like, switches in the overhead panel where it says, like, off, low, high, or like, they're like toggle switches, right? So people put these, like, fake stickers around them, and they relabel them as chemtrail, off, low, and high,
yes.
or max and minimum and off, and things. It just it's just funny because they'll take that picture and the internet will run with it. Like, look, I saw it for real life. It's in a real cockpit. It
Oh, for
exists.
sure. For sure. Well, I hate to dispel it because it is fun to talk about. People at work don't talk about this. Other pilots don't talk about chemtrails, which kind of, I don't know. But there's plenty of other things that they do talk about.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because, like, maybe some of them do believe in it and are so embarrassed to actually say it because they read too much internet. So our fuel load, those fuel tanks are either in a truck or they're stored in the ground, and they get pumped into the airplane. And some people think it's pre-mixed into our fuel.
Yeah. Well, I would love to see how they've engineered an engine that can, separate the two.
And put the mind control mix into the fuel so that, but it doesn't change as it gets burned through the compressors, through the, yeah, section of the engines as it goes out. I don't know.
I don't know, but people want to hear what they hear, and they'll look up. Oh, look, chemtrail. It lasts longer than a contrail. Therefore, contrail. What is? First of all, maybe we should describe what a contrail is. What is that white wispy thing? Do you?
Condensation trail.
Okay, what is that? Explain it to me like I'm five.
Okay, so I'm going to have a hard time explaining to you like you're 5 because I can't explain things to my 5-year-old. But the temperatures leaving the exhaust of the jet engine as they meet the atmosphere behind the aircraft that's flying through this atmosphere creates condensation in the exhaust trail. Now, some of it will last longer than others. Basically, you formed a cloud, it's there now, it's not going away, and sometimes it will go away. Sometimes it'll dissolve immediately. That's where all the crazy stuff comes in because you're like, well, that one went through and the contrail stayed there for like an hour, and the other one went through and it was disappearing immediately. So one of them had the contrails on it or chemtrails, and one didn't. And you don't know what altitude they're at. There are temperature inversions and layers, and every altitude, every 1,000 feet is a different temperature reading. So the reaction of the exhaust gas temperature to relative, atmosphere, wherever altitude that plane is flying. Now, if two planes are flying at the exact same altitude side by side, and one of them had contrails different than the other, well, then maybe the engines are producing different temperatures.
Okay. I saw one theory that said if you see a crosshatch pattern, so two airplanes flying perpendicular to one another would make like an X or a checkerboard pattern in the sky.
X marks the spot.
That is it, exactly. So if you see that,
planes don't ever fly in different directions. They always go parallel.
Don't breathe deeply if you see the crosshatching contrails or chemtrails.
Was that a real thing you found?
Apparently, yeah.
The grid is happening. They're making the grid over us right now. So actually, I know a guy that I used to work with for over a decade. He's a mechanic, and he retired. And I am seeing on social medias, like he is like full sold conspiracy about it.
You think this happens as people get older?
But he worked on these engines himself, these airplanes.
That's what I'm saying. He should have great knowledge base to dispel any of this thing. I think something happens to our brains.
And he was in the Air Force. Like maybe he was right then. Maybe he's just trying to tell everybody how wrong we are, and nobody's listening.
That could be. That could well be.
Oh my!
All right. Well,
so around the Earth or across the Earth.
Across the Earth, correct.
What's the politically correct term now? Because we have so many flat earthers.
It depends. Is the Earth round or is it flat? If it's flat, it's across the Earth. Yes. So we're moving on to that.
Yeah. Let's do that. Because I was at my kid's. My kid went to a birthday party. I can't remember what it was. It was like a play gym-ish thing, and I don't really know all of her friends' parents too well. Some of them I do, but at this particular party, I don't.
Okay.
But I kind of know who they are, what they do. They know who I am, what I do. And the kids are all playing. Everyone's having a good time. I'm just kind of hanging out by myself. And dad of the birthday girl comes up and goes, "You're the pilot, right?" And I was
Here
like,
we go.
"Oh, no."
Yep.
So, is the Earth flat? And I was like, well, how do I do this? Like, not professionally, but like amicably, right? Because our kids are friends.
Exactly. You're gonna have to encounter this guy.
Yeah, I know where this is going, and I don't want it to get like my kid to not be able to hang out with her friend anymore. But also, her friend's dad is about to tell me that the Earth is flat. So maybe I don't know. so I let him go on. I said, "What questions do you have?" He's like, "Well, it's definitely flat. And do you have anything?"
That's not a question. It's definitely flat.
Oh yeah, he wanted me to reiterate for him and affirm his beliefs. So I took out my app on my phone. You have this on your iPad, maybe your phone too, but our airplane app, our navigating app. So mine's called ForeFlight. And I just took the map of where we were on the Earth, and I pinched it out. And then I pinched it out, and then I pinched it even more, and I was zooming all the way out until the view was round, a sphere. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you unless the navigating people are manipulating the navigation software, but this is what I have to navigate around the globe.
No.
Just saying.
See, I that's so easily disputable because obviously it's the tech. The people are doing this. It's the cabal. Of course they're going to put a globe on the app. They're not going to, perpetuate the flat Earth thing for all to see and understand. And you in the navigation world have to understand that they're just doing that so that you can have this conversation with this guy. and make him believe in the round earth. Clearly, the earth is flat. It says so in the Bible, I'm sure. It mentions something about the four corners of the earth.
Oh, and the end of it, like we're on like
Yeah.
we're on like a board game in the
Yeah,
kitchen
yeah.
table.
They're standing on pillars somehow. What the
Okay.
pillars are resting on, I'm not sure. The back of a turtle, perhaps, which itself would be round. But also, the flat Earth people believe that the Earth. I've only seen a disc-shaped model of the flat Earth. So in a disc, which is also round, there are no corners. So you can throw that out right away. The other thing is they believe that everything is surrounded by this ice wall. Antarctica is an ice wall rather than a continent that we believe.
Oh, I see. So we're like unpeeling the globe from the bottom at the South Pole and like ripping it up like an orange. Like if
Yeah,
you
like
peeled an orange
if you
from the
could peel
bottom,
that and then take that peel, which used to be Antarctica, and then you
make a
wrap
pizza
it
crust
around.
around it.
Yeah, yeah. So the pizza crust is the ice that was once Antarctica, and that holds everything in. Keeps all the water from falling off the edge, keeps us somehow from going to the edge and peering over, because nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever brought back any photographic or video evidence of it.
Never. All the space images are fake, so we never
Well,
actually
they
went up
are.
there.
That's the thing, though. They'll say, "Well, if we could get some photographic evidence and prove, let's launch a rocket, and if the rocket crashes into the, so they believe in this thing called the firmament, which is like a dome, and I'm not sure if I don't think it's the. Remember the Truman Show? Did you ever see that
Yes.
movie?
Yeah, yeah, I love that movie.
So Jim Carrey is this character Truman who lives in a manufactured world whose only existence is to document his existence, and the sky is fake and there's a dome and it's all painted, and he's never traveled to the edge of it until he figures it out at the end, and he does. So I guess that's what flat earthers believe. Our earth has a similar dome with the sky and stars and the sun and the moon, and
You know, I would love to have a follow-up on this episode later. If we have any listeners at home that want to help convince us that the earth is flat, like write us the email, catsonguard@gmail.com. It'd be really cool to have that, maybe like a couple of exchanges of emails back and forth, and then we go over the conversation. Like somebody write us that you're sold, if you're sold on it. Honestly, genuinely sold, write us, please.
yeah, because I want to know about, this dome. I want to know how the earth and moon, how the sun and moon work above. Are they attached to a pendulum somehow, spinning, from the ceiling of the dome? It is said that the flat earth people believe that the sun is a mere 3,000 miles up in the sky, which would give it a diameter of somewhere between, 28 and 32 miles or so. So very close. Um, but then how does an eclipse work? How does a sunset work?
It's
How,
all part of the big plan to keep you covered up, man.
but here's the thing: if the earth is flat, now you and I have seen sunsets, and I've seen non sunsets. How do I see a non sunset? By flying west in the evening at just the perfect speed that sun never moves. I've done it. You've done it.
Yep,
I'm sure of it.
it's cool.
Yeah, it's also annoying because that sun is always right there in your eyes and it's bright, but it doesn't set. But for those who have seen the sunset, where does it go? And how does it do that? If the earth is flat and the sun is on this dome, what is it doing? Where's it going? How's it getting there? And also, if the earth is flat, how is it that we don't see everything all at once? Think about that. Why don't we see Paris right now? Or the Alps, or what's that other really
To
big
my
mountain?
knowledge, on
Everest.
the disc we're on, I think 13 miles or something like that is from like the ground level to the horizon on a flat surface.
That doesn't make any sense. There should be no horizon on a flat surface.
Okay.
Think about it.
Just playing devil's advocate here. Yeah, if it was completely flat, but it's not flat. They're advocating that it's like a dome-ish.
No,
The
I don't think you
disc, the
have that
disc,
right. The
the
disk
disc.
is flat. The dome is everything above: the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars, the clouds, the chemtrails. All of that is
I love how you included the chemtrails up there.
all of that is above the flat surface. If the surface is flat, look at the. You sitting at a desk right now?
Yes, I am.
Think about if you were sitting at that desk and you put your eye, go down eye level at the desk, and then look across it. What do you see?
Is this a prank?
No, I'm serious. If you
No,
look
you'll
across
see
that
right
desk,
across to the other
you'll
side. I
see
get it. Yeah.
everything on that desk. But if you take a beach ball and you attach something to one side of the beach ball, you're not going to see it from the other side.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm trying to advocate for the other people that
I
disagree
know
with
we
you.
need to give them their time. They need to come on the show.
Everyone has
Let's
a
have a
right to
flat
their
Earth guest.
opinion. Ah, oh my gosh. Yes.
That would be fun, wouldn't
Oh,
it?
speaking of flat Earth guests, so the airport, like during boarding process, how many times does somebody poke their head up and ask you if the Earth is flat?
It's only happened to me, I believe, once that I remembered, and I remember it only because it was kind of recent. It might have happened before, but it has happened. Yeah.
But yeah, I had it a handful of times in the couple of years of recent past with the spread of, forums and Reddit and internet articles and things. So I thought it was fairly common. I'm thinking if I get like one per week, that's like one out of every, I don't know, couple thousand people that I would fly in a given week there, right? So I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I told you about that guy I flew with, and he's like, "Oh, we were talking about these flat Earth people. I'm not sure they're wrong." You
Yeah,
know?
that means he was a believer but couldn't, and he also believed in the chemtrails, but he didn't want to say anything to anybody.
Yeah, you're probably right. But the funny thing is that they find a way to ignore all the evidence. They'll do experiments. They'll go out there and get scientific data, scientific equipment to measure things, and then it proves the Earth is round, and they just disregard it.
So this goes a little further than the actual conspiracy, but these people that are kind of bottling it up and not telling you, or they may throw some prods out there like I'm not sure they're wrong, like that kind of thing. Um, so there's a psychological experiment. And I can't remember what the study was called. I read a great article about it, and it was about people that have like cult style beliefs and how they get cult members to be cult members. And so like the core group that recruits you, they share your belief and they affirm your belief. But then they know that the more exposure you go out to people that don't believe, that when you return to your group, your cult, your whatever, you'll feel a sense of belonging and affirmation. And so when you go out and try to find other people, which there are not many of, that share your beliefs, you're going to feel isolated and abandoned and alone. And then you can always turn around and come back to your group leader who's going to give you a hug and tell you that we all feel the same way here. You're welcome here. We all believe you. And then they just like buy into it more.
You sound like you've really done some research into this.
Just a little bit.
Have you considered starting one up?
I have.
Yeah. Can I get in on that?
Absolutely.
It's a great money-making scheme.
We're going to go out and tell people that all kinds of weird things. They're going to reject us. Then you're going to come back. We're going to talk to each other and affirm each other's beliefs.
And we're going to change the name of the podcast to Cults on Guard.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be great?
We could preach on guard.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. And we didn't even include religion in this conspiracy thing today. But
no, let's
boy,
just not. I think we should probably pass on that one. Just, dude, I don't know. If you really want to do it, there's so many. Like it's a lot of years worth of conspiracies.
it is.
That's a
Well,
long list. That's
you know, you talk about the dad at the party. I've always had this fantasy that I get into one of those situations with him. He's asking about the flat earth or the chemtrails or whatever it is. And, you listen to him. And in my world, this is what you do. You take the guy outside. You say, come with me. Very quick, very quietly, you motion to him. And you take him out into the yard, wherever you are, somewhere outside. You move him to a very specific spot. And then you look up like you're checking out.
oh god. The
And
big
then you
lead
move
up to it.
and then you move him over a couple feet. Okay. And
They're watching us.
and then you say, shut the F up.
He'll be so sold on like, oh, I'm gonna get
Oh my
the
God.
good details. I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get some
Oh, yeah.
confirmation.
Yeah.
And no.
Yep. So, because they are watching. And where are they watching from? They're watching from the mountains out in the Rockies.
No, they're
Out,
watching from your phone and your iPad and your Alexa and your Google.
yeah, but they have a home base, and do you know where it is?
Is it with the aliens?
No, they are out at the Denver International Airport in Denver,
Oh,
Colorado.
that's conspiracy headquarters, right?
Yes, it is. Have you been there?
I have a lot. I have a lot of family out there.
Yeah, that's right. So you must know all about this place.
Yes, I go there and I go to the sacrifice chamber every time I land there.
I've seen that place. When we used to park over there in a certain spot, we would push back, and there was this big, I don't know if it was like a power generator or what, but it had these big, like cone shaped, I don't know, smokestacks or something. Those giant
Oh, they
steam.
like resemble the Rocky Mountains.
Well, that's the tent. I'd like to like the building, but this specific, I don't know what it was, like a power plant or something, had these
Okay.
big giant like steam stacks, and I always used to think that's that steam. Somehow they've gotten the red mist to turn white, and it's that's where they're feeding the bodies to generate the power. So, okay, let's move on. Denver
Oh,
International Airport. Now, I
so
don't mean move on. We're not done with Denver. We're starting Denver. There's
okay.
so much to talk about with
Like,
the
wait,
Denver
no,
airport.
yeah. That's a great airport, honestly. So before we go into negative things, I want to say that they designed that airport so that there's no crossing runways.
Yes, that's right.
You do not need to hold short of a crossing runway, and the risks of a runway incursion are slim to none. You land on the outside, right, and you land toward the terminal, and then you always depart. Like the taxi times are genius. Like you leave the gate, and you go to the nearest runway by the terminal, and you depart away from the airport because they have so much space there. They don't have to cram things in like other
Yeah,
airports.
it's really spread out. I mean, one runway to the next is a long way to go if you're
But you
if
land toward the terminal, and then the other runway on the other side of the terminal is for like departures, and they're both into the wind.
but have you ever looked at I'm sure you have, the airport diagram? Look at the shape of the runways.
Yeah, it looks a little
It
funky.
looks a little bit, just a little, and you really do have to imagine it. But it is one of the leading conspiracies about this airport is that the airport runway resembles a swastika.
Didn't a swastika mean something good before it meant something bad?
Oh, the swastika goes back thousands and thousands of years. Yeah, it's been usurped for untoward purposes, but
And
in
yeah, the 30s and 40s were like, yeah, let's not use that anymore.
well, I think yeah. So that's one theory. Um, there's also a whole lot of stuff going on. First of all, and this didn't come up in my current research, but wasn't it? Was it even necessary to build this airport? They had another airport. It was closer to downtown.
Stapleton?
Yeah, Stapleton Airport. It's closer to the current airport is so far away. Like if I got a Denver overnight on my trip, I was so upset about it because the ride to the hotel was like an hour long.
No, so if you haven't been to Denver recently, it's expanding rapidly,
Okay.
like unfortunately rapidly. And I feel like that was good planning on their part because now that it's expanding, like there are subdivisions tucked around those runways now,
Oh, really?
like McMansion subdivisions and neighborhoods encroaching. It used to be nothing but fields, and in fact, there's like civilization being built every inch of the road from Colorado Springs to Denver.
Who's living in
Um,
these mansions?
I want to know
Are
what
they
they do.
people? Are
I
they
want to know what
people?
they do. That they're
Are they
probably the aliens.
the aliens and the lizard people? Because isn't it said that there are underground bunkers and tunnels that lead to all these places where the aliens and the lizard people are controlling the cabal?
Wasn't the Facebook guy accused of being a lizard people because like he won't blink or
Oh,
something?
Zuckerberg? Does
Yeah, there was like a picture. He was like he didn't look human in the picture.
he doesn't blink?
I don't know. It was
That's
it was one of those other accusations. So
that's
maybe he's in
interesting.
charge down there in Denver.
Because sometimes I get stuck with people that blink constantly, way too much, and all I
I
can
think
do
it's
is
more
watch.
creepy to no blinker than a blinker.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know.
extra blinking, like you have allergies, your eyes are itchy,
Maybe
watery, but no blinking, you're like, what is up with this serial killer?
he's a robot.
It's a lizard robot.
That's it. Well, I don't know.
The underground thing though, I am aware that there are like tunnels all over the underground of that airport, right? There's a train system down there
There
too.
is a train because the terminals are somewhat spread apart, and you have to take a train to get to, from one to the other.
All right, I'm going to branch off the conspiracy for a second. I hate the Denver as a walking individual professional by myself with my suitcase. I love the Denver airport. Trying to transport a family of 6 through that airport with young children, I elected to drive 20 hours
Did you
instead
really?
of fly to that airport. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Well, think about this. I've got 3 in car seats. We've got a stroller for
Oh
the little
yeah.
one or two, a baby bag, all of our actual suitcases, carry-ons, the iPads, the blankets, the snacks. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to drive to the airport, like airport park and fly, and then to get to Denver. And then I've got to take all the car seats out of the car, like those clicks. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Those click
Yeah.
straps that are a
I know
pain in
what
the
you
ass.
mean. Yep.
And I got to put them all in the shuttle van and go to the airport. Then I got to get on like a plane and hope they all make it through check baggage, and then the stroller, and then when I get to Denver, I get the pleasure of deplaning, walking down those either walkways, moving walkways, right? And then you've got elevators and escalators down to a train with all of this stuff down in the lower levels of the Denver property. And then we go to bag claim. We would have to get our car seats and reestablish, right? And then you'd have to get on another bus to go to a rental car center. By the way, the Denver rental car centers are like so off site. They're like miles off the airport from the terminal, and they're all individual. So you have no power to like, screw this, Hertz, I'm going to Enterprise. Like when you get on a Hertz bus and you show up at the Hertz lot, and if there's 100 people in front of you, well, you're number 101. And there's no like storming off to Enterprise to say, screw you, I'll go somewhere else. You're just stuck there because the bus dropped you off of their private property. So I elected to drive.
I'm listening to this rant that you're going on, and all I'm asking myself is, why is this guy traveling in any method, car, plane, automobile, when you have those 3 kids in car seats and you're going places? What all you're doing is taking all of your problems to another location.
I am. It's not vacation. We're
Don't
just parenting in
travel.
another location.
Don't
I know.
travel until your kids are minimum 5 years old. Youngest.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just okay.
But anyway, in the conspiracy tunnels that we were down there looking at,
Yeah.
yeah, so I was thinking like the trains have to go places. They have to have maintenance for the trains. They have to have vehicles. I bet you a bunch of those tunnels are like maintenance tunnels.
Oh, sure. And there's probably some different shaped like doors that are, giant 10-foot doors to allow the tall aliens in, and there's maybe even some little ones. Like you've seen Men in Black, they come in all
Yes,
shapes and
they
sizes.
do. The pug. That was my favorite
Yeah.
alien, the pug.
Yeah. And then I'm told that the tunnels actually lead to NORAD, which is was that North America or something? Some sort of a radar military defense system built inside of a mountain out in that
So
area.
I doubt we would connect a public space to something as top secret and private as NORAD.
Oh no, the public space isn't connected. That's the secret tunnel.
It is a secret tunnel, but if that was the case, then it is accessible to get from a public airport
Or maybe
to.
all those houses that are popping up around have, like their own elevator that goes down 3 miles to the tunnel or something.
So you know what I would believe though for NORAD, if there was an underground method to get from where NORAD is to a runway, I just don't believe it would be the public airport where United Airlines is punching one out every minute.
I listen, if we're going down this path, I don't think that they're using runways. They've got their own secret portals that they just step through like Stargate.
Like the Wonkavator,
Yeah. That'd be fun.
the upways and sideways and downways and leftways and rightways.
No. Listen, have you ever walked around inside the airport?
I love it.
You've seen the artwork there?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, let's describe some of this artwork.
Well, there's an airplane I used to fly hanging in there. I didn't fly
Oh,
that exact one, but I flew one just like it.
what? Tell me about it.
There's a Learjet hanging in there, and I can't remember whose Learjet it is, but it's significant of some sort.
Huh. Well, that's okay, because, very few people have ever flown a Learjet, so well done. All right, so they've got some crazy artwork, and it's I'm pulling one up right now. You'll find this stuff throughout the airport. Here's a portrait. I don't know what it's called. Let's see if they give it a name. It is a large mural of a military armed with a military officer wearing a what appears to be a gas mask, although that could actually be its face. I can't zoom in any closer. It looks like a gas mask. It could be a scary alien face. He's got the green military garb. He's got a large saber in one hand and a machine gun in the other. There are what appear to be a group of nuns, maybe, or hooded looking women, all holding their hands in their faces. One appears to be carrying a dead baby. They get smaller as they progress away from the viewer. So they might all be holding dead babies. There appear to be some more, I don't know if they're sleeping children or dead children. There is ruined buildings all around and what looks like a dove, like, the symbol of peace, just flying away from this thing. Oh, and a rainbow in the background. So what is this image supposed to be representing?
I too am looking at that image.
Happy travels, everyone.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It is so bizarre that I don't have words to give you to like explain. I don't know.
Yeah. And then there's gargoyles all over the airport. The gargoyles look down. I think they're in the baggage claim area, maybe.
Tell me about so the city of Denver, the county, or whoever it is that owns this property, they would decide, let's build this cool new airport. Do you think in a meeting they were like, let's make this so ridiculous that people never understand this forever?
Maybe they were. Maybe some practical joker was just like, I'll just get people talking.
Let's get some people high on acid and have them paint all these pictures, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna make secret doors and only tell a couple people about it, let word spread, and then we're gonna hang random pieces of artwork throughout here that nobody knows why they're here, and we're gonna make it kind of look like a swastika. So, like, no, there's no way this all happened.
Yeah. Now, okay, here's another one. In this one, you have a group of children. Look like they're standing kind of on the edge of a forest that's on fire. There is a penguin in a glass case, a whale jumping in the background, some other animals, and you see a city in the back. Like, is the world on fire? Oh, here's another animal in a glass case. So, is the world on fire? Is the world ending? I don't know, Denver. What the heck? And let's talk about the horse. Have you seen the horse?
No, I don't. Are you talking about the metal horse?
Yeah. I don't know if it's what it's made out of. So on the outskirts of the airport, as you drive in, there's like a 20-foot tall blue, like sapphire blue. It's a beautiful color. This horse with it reared up on its legs and it's breathing. I don't know what's breathing, but it's got these glowing red eyes. So the story behind this horse is that, or the conspiracy behind the horse, is that it represents the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Which, wouldn't the four horsemen be men riding horses? This is just a horse, but it's eerie, and if you see it at night, it's really creepy with those red eyes.
I like it.
Yeah, but it's also like a harbinger of doom. I guess that while the artist was working on it, a piece of the sculpture broke off, fell on the guy, crushed him, and he died.
Oh,
Yeah. So that took a turn. I don't know. That's just creepy weird.
so we have cursed horses. We have Illuminati artwork. We have underground tunnels that lead to secret government places, right? Or is this government or is this like the New
It's
World
the
Order,
cabal. It's the New World Order. The
the whole
cabal.
thing? Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
So the people that traverse this airport with their skis and their snowboards, they're all just playing in they're just a little piece of the
Absolutely.
moving puzzle, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's it. Who knows what goes on those ski slopes? What that snow is really made of?
Chemtrail snow.
Yeah.
Actually, because the cloud layers are equal to some or below some of the mountaintops, there could be some chemtrail snow in there.
Yeah. You're probably actually safer at the top of the mountains. You just have to traverse through the chemicals to get to it.
Oh my gosh. We are so bad at this is terrible. We're
So,
gonna create more conspiracy theorists doing this.
well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh boy.
Do you know? I'm going to tell you something. You can hear more about this stuff, and not even from us. You ever drive late at night, like a really long drive? There's a radio show called Coast to Coast AM, and it's all of this stuff. every night. If I'm driving at that hour, it's a 4-hour program. You can find it somewhere on your AM dial if you still have an AM radio in your car. But they also simulcast it on Sirius XM, Road Dog 146.
Really? I'll have
Yes,
to try that out. I do have a Sirius subscription.
I'm plugging it because it's if you've listened to all of Cats on Guard and you just don't know what to do with yourself, check this out. But this is the kind of stuff they talk about: space aliens and demons and portals and Denver airports and chemtrails, and it's just so entertaining. But the way they present it, which is the way most of these conspiracists live their lives, it's just part of their life. It's so matter of fact to them. They don't get worked up. They're not screaming from the mountaintops. They're just having a normal conversation. And when they present it like that, you listen to it, you're like, oh, you know what? This sounds like there might be something to this. Yeah.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
and then you get to your Google machine and you look it up and you're like, oh my God, these people are crazy.
Oh, I'm a mess over here, knocking stuff left and right.
You're doing it very quietly, so well done.
Well, that's good. So 4-hour shows, and they're talking about all this stuff. You've seen The Matrix, right?
I haven't actually.
Oh my gosh. So you never heard red pill, blue pill?
I'm familiar with it because there was an episode of The Office that spoofed it.
Okay. So Cats on Guard needs to go back to the movies and watch The Matrix
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
Or Matrix First Time for You. No, you can't not. Oh my gosh.
And you know what? Listen to me. I have not seen every movie that's ever come out. All right. I get
No,
this.
but
You haven't seen this? God, you gotta. So you know what? The big one was The Big Lebowski. I kept hearing about that. So
you haven't seen that either? Okay,
I
good.
have.
What a great movie. Oh my gosh.
It was okay.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we don't have to like everything. Go on to your red pill, blue
pill,
yes.
spiel. Yeah. The Matrix is like, there's obviously a whole much more conspiracies and like sub messages or like sub theories about that movie, but it's oddly plausible. Like if there's a conspiracy I believe in,
Yeah.
The Matrix brings it to light. Like
Okay.
maybe we are in the Matrix and maybe there's a movie about it to like make us think that we're in a movie about it. Okay, so you know that there's a band Alien Ant Farm, right? And then I was like, oh, well, it's an interesting band name, and it's like maybe like how we have an ant farm, you know, the glass tray with lots of sand in it, and the ants go digging holes through it, and you get to watch them, and they look at them exist, look at them working all day, those dumbasses, right? All these little ants, oh, they got a nest, and oh, they got a colony, and oh, and they're like, maybe we're the ant farm for the aliens, and they're just watching us fight on Facebook with each other.
For sure. Yeah.
And we're throwing
So.
trash in the ocean, and like they're like, look at this idiot, you know, and let's see if they screw up their ocean, and then like if we do screw it all up and we go into like nuclear catastrophe, the aliens will come like shake us up and like start the ant farm over again. We're like, here you go, you know.
Years ago, I got a book off of like the dollar table at the bookstore that, you know, books nobody's interested in. I picked it up and it was about exactly what you're talking about. It was about a guy, some alien, some supernatural being somewhere he was just tinkering and he created the earth. His name was Godfrey. They called him God for short. And his coworkers would stop by his cubicle and be like, "Oh God, you're still messing with that Earth thing? Come on!"
I'm sorry, seriously?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Godfrey was shortened to God?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, that's amazing. So it's like a spin-off of the Bible, but just with like different names and activities?
Yeah, but it was just aliens doing it for fun. He was like, it's like he wasn't even supposed to be doing it. He was supposed to be working on something else. This was like his side gig. I wish I could remember the name of that book.
Side gig it turned into Earth. Oh my God, and all of our existence. That's wild. Oh, you got to find that book. I want to read it.
I will. I'll try to find it. Reddit will know. Reddit knows everything. Talk about conspiracies. That's where you go for the good ones. Are there any though that are even a little bit possible to be true? Like, let's bring it back down to earth a little bit. Let's like airport level.
Back down to earth. Why would we need to come down? It's all, you know,
around, across. Gravity is fake. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
Birds are fake.
The birds, the bugs, they're all okay. To be honest with you, you can actually get like a remote control bird. So that's kind of
sure,
weird.
Like a drone. shaped like a
Yeah,
bird.
but no, it
Yeah.
like flies. It has wings. The little arms, they sweep
Oh my
around like
God.
birds, and they
I
yeah.
have to
So
tell you a story. I'm gonna get a try. I don't know if she still listens. She was my wife would listen when she goes to this pottery class, and she hasn't mentioned anything about the show in a long time. So I think she's done with us. So I'm going to say this story. She was asking, as we're recording this, within the past week there was a crash of a 787 Air India flight, and there was some speculation about what happened. Were the flaps improperly set, and so she started asking me about the flaps and how they move. And I got the impression that I don't think she was asking it this way, but I got the impression she thought the flaps were flapping like a bird's wings out there.
oh, but you won't admit that, like, but
Well, I made fun of her. I don't think she meant it. She's smarter than that. She's smarter than me. So, no, but it was a funny moment. And I just had to bring it up.
yeah, like little fluttering like
She's
wing
like, so
flappy things.
what the flaps weren't flapping fast enough, and that's why the plane crashed.
Yes.
No, that's not what happened. And she didn't mean
No,
that.
we don't know. Nobody knows what happened yet. That's just we'll know soon enough.
Yeah. So, but things do happen. Like you get in the airplane, you get to the airport, and your flight's delayed. Oh no! What are we going to do now? Well, let's go hang out at the bar. Sure. And then you hear all the drunks in the bar at the airport. They just delayed this flight so that we'll come and spend money in the bar. They're all in cahoots. All the airlines are
They're all in
controlling.
cahoots with the with the Wendy's or the
That's
McDonald's.
it.
You buy more French fries
That's
while you
right.
wait for your flight.
Yes.
This okay, that's actually worse than like the medical conspiracies of like big pharma. Like well, maybe they're in on it too then, because the more French fries you buy from McDonald's, the more unhealthier you get. The more unhealthy you get, and you need meds from the
And
fight from the pharmaceutical companies.
who else is in on it? The TSA, because you can't bring your drinks through security anymore. So you have to buy your drinks at the airport. It's a money making scheme, man. It all is.
The human body needs how much water per day, and if they take your waters away when you get there, and you know that you're there
I think
usually
it's
two
like
to three
12
hours.
gallons or something. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
50 gallons of water a
No,
day.
per day? No, that's
No.
a conspiracy actually, yeah. And if you've tried anyone that's tried 50 gallons a day, I would love to have you on the episode live. I'll fly if you can consume 50 gallons in a day, I will fly you here and we will live stream that.
Or I like this one. Yeah, they're just doing this to piss us off.
I'm sure that's happened a time or two.
Just specifically, like the airlines want to piss off their customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
To what end?
So, like, when you screw one flight for another, I think that's like you're just screwing one person. So, like, remember when, or maybe it wasn't with you, we were told we couldn't take off for LaGuardia Airport because somebody else's plane was delayed. Like the plane that was, so let's say we're going to park at gate 33. I don't know what the number was in LaGuardia, but there's a plane on gate 33. All the other gates are full. Gate 33 is supposed to leave for Cancun, Mexico, and they can't for whatever reason. But they're sitting and then in LaGuardia, there's like nowhere to put extra airplanes. And we got told that we can't depart from like, I don't know, Atlanta maybe, because we don't have anywhere to park when we land at LaGuardia. So we didn't do anything to get delayed. The weather wasn't bad. Like somebody else did that to screw us.
Like the
You know what I'm
airlines are trying to screw each other over?
Maybe
Like United is going to sit on that gate and occupy it because they know that Delta is coming up. And if they don't leave the gate, then Delta can't operate their flight. And that's going to piss off Delta passengers. And they're going to run over to United and buy tickets on them next time.
that's a hell of a conspiracy because we know how gates work and that's not how that works. But anyway, no, I don't think they're like actually like, John Doe, John's on that flight. Let's screw that. Oh, screw that flight. Right?
Oh, for sure. We got to take it to John Doe.
I tell you, on the flip side of that, though, I have heard of people that like know something on the inside of who the passenger on a plane is, and like giving them like an expedited route with ATC,
Oh, yeah.
or yeah, like that kind of stuff.
I can see that. Zuckerberg's on there. He's not, we got to get
Oh,
him on
he
the
doesn't
ground before he
fly
blinks.
commercial. He doesn't fly public bus transportation in the air. There's no way.
Who was the guy? Was it Musk? Who was Musk? His plane, some kid, some like teenager was tracking Musk's plane using some software.
He didn't like it.
Yeah. So they put a stop to that. Yeah, the bigwigs do it. The cabal, the new world order that's running the whole show. And I just push the chemtrail button when I'm told. Like I said, I get paid a lot.
Yeah. Is it
every
part of the
time.
18,000-foot flow, or was it the cruise flight flow? I can't remember.
It depends on what the object of the day is. It mind control? Is it weather seeding? Is it spreading disease?
Just fluoride. Just standard fluoride.
Yeah, if only. So that's it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's more. I could probably come up with more, but we'll wrap this one up.
We'll save it for the next time. We'll get this one cleared by the cabal, and then we'll see what else they'll allow us to talk about.
Hey, and if any of us, if either of us go mysteriously missing in the few weeks following this episode, we'll just remember we didn't do it.
Okay. Hey, that's it for today. My name is MC Howe.
And I am Co-Captain Richard Millian.
See you next time.